Hey everybody, welcome back to Matt N Stu Review, where we take a look at your favorite toys from yesterday and today. Stuart, what do we have on the table?
Today we are looking at X-Men 97 Wave 2 from Marvel Legends. These are the figures that go with the new cartoon. And we're also going to talk a little bit about the new cartoon.
Yeah, X-Men 97.
Woo!
We're back, baby. I'm pretty excited to see it. Obviously, I'm a child of the 90s. You know, I was born in 85, so X-Men hit like perfect time for us, Saturday morning cartoons. Probably some of you out there watched it too. Yeah, I was super excited to see the cartoon just launched on Disney+. Watched the first two episodes. We actually watched the first one at lunch the other day.
Yep.
And then I went home and I watched it with my 3-year-old, and she was actually pretty into it.
She liked it.
Yeah, I was surprised. She's a
Okay.
big like Bluey fan, PJ Masks, but she stuck around and she kind of got sucked into it and she was into it. So
Nice.
we both had a good time. It was some good nostalgia.
Well, cool. Let's start with some of these figures. Wave 2, we've got Cyclops, Jean, Nightcrawler, Magneto in his newly designed costume there. I think Goblin Queen is what she is called, and the Executioner there. Some of these characters we've met in the show, some of them we haven't met yet.
Yep.
I think some of them might mean spoilers.
Yeah, at time of filming, we're 2 episodes in. So the second Jean Grey has just arrived to the X-Mansion, and I'm kind of curious to see what's up. Obviously, you know a little bit, maybe just as like a Hasbro spoiler.
I did know some of the spoilers, both from the comic books, and I was able to, infer some from the toys too.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, sometimes toys do actually provide a bit of spoilers to things. You know, I think that's happened in some Star Wars toys or something like that too.
It's happened in a few movies lately, be it costumes or, characters that survived seeming death.
Sure.
Things like that.
Well, what character do you want to talk about first? How about the Executioner?
Yeah.
He's jumping at the bit here. I thought this was an interesting character. Obviously, I'm not very familiar with the comics or anything like that of what's been going on. But when you pulled him out of the box today to kind of take a look, I was surprised to see him. So yeah, I don't know. He's kind of a basic figure, but Freedom of Humans guy. Got some good accessories.
I'd say he's a victim of a trench coat wearing figure. Loses a lot of movement. He's got it in there, but you've got to work for it. And I don't know. Some of these things are always going to be awkward. He's definitely true to the character model though from the show.
He does look just like a
give him
character.
that.
Yeah, 100%. This like cool, whatever kind of arm cannon, Mega Man blaster.
Yeah,
it's pretty sweet.
I think they got that tech from the
Sentinels.
It looked like.
Yeah, and then the weird anti-mutagen thing.
The Bane of Storm.
Yeah, there you go.
Spoiler alert.
Yep. Well, what else is out here? Can we talk about Magneto?
Yeah, let's talk about Magneto. What do you think of his new look? Let's put it on here.
All right, Magneto. Magneto's probably my least favorite character redesign of the new series. I thought his face was super weird looking.
Yeah.
Episode 1, he had like super red lips, which I thought was weird, but it was just in a scene, so maybe they were figuring that one out.
I noticed that.
I would say his action figure is very true to character model on the show. So like his face looks just like the show. It looks really good. Although I'm not a fan of it, it looks really good. I thought the bro tank look was kind of funny, but
especially like he looks like he should be a 1920s flapper smoking like a long cigarette with his big long gloves. That's what got me. It's definitely the most the gayest of Magneto's looks.
Gay. I don't know. It's it doesn't come off that way in the show as much, but when you see it in a figure,
it looks more so on the figure. I agree with you there.
Yeah, it's Hasbro's like body design is like a little funny to me. Like they're like when I was looking at the Cyclops figure, he was really goofy looking. His like ape index is all off. His arms are longer. They like seem too long for his body. But since we mentioned Scott, let's talk about Cyclops here.
I'm kind of disappointed by this figure because I love this design of the character so much. Like this is my Cyclops.
Favorite Cyclops by far.
He comes with a fair amount of accessories. He has one head with a really dumb kind of smug look on his face. He's got another one where he's sort of exerting himself, it looks like here. Ooh, get on there. But the unfortunate thing is, the better of the two heads kind of doesn't work unless you're using the blast effect. So
the optic blast.
Yeah, there's no real casual.
I mean, Cyclops is the most smug of all the X-Men, I feel like.
He is, but so he's supposed to be like a smug adult man. And this looks like kind of just like a smug teenager.
He's a smug
right?
boy in that. I totally agree. Yes, especially since he's a dad now.
Yeah.
He's like he does not look like dad material. Yeah, no, I thought his character in the cartoon was great.
Yeah.
Like character design, everything like that is pretty good. The action figures a little goofy.
I appreciated, I think it was in the opening scene where it seemed like the Friends of Humanity had him down and he used the ever so 90s not before he blasted them.
It was very 90s, yes. It was very good. It was true to the 97 like paradigm. Yeah, I thought that was pretty great. All right, let's see who else is here on the table. I think let's talk about Jean Grey and maybe her alter ego here on the table as well.
That's probably a good idea.
So let's talk about Jean Grey first. Like very classic 90s Jean Grey. Pretty good figure. I'd say it's probably the best Jean Grey I've seen in this like older style like costume and everything like that.
I agree, and I have other Marvel Legends figures even of Jean Grey of this era, and you know, you were talking about the weird proportions on Scott there. Marvel's recently redid their female bodies where they don't have pins in the joints anymore, and I feel like they've just done a killer job.
Yeah, she looks good. She's like pretty slender, especially compared to the guys. So she kind of has a little more feminine like body to her.
Absolutely.
And good posability. I feel like the female characters when we were kids were always just the absolute worst.
They were the worst.
Like they had no posability. They were just like, I don't know. They just sucked.
Yeah.
So this is pretty cool to see. You know, hip joint or leg, these like leg twisty things that are new are pretty cool. So you can get some good posing and stuff like that on them. Pretty sweet. Who is the alter ego here?
So, speculation / spoilers. We think the Goblin Queen, Madeline Pryor, who is like a clone of Jean Grey that Mr. Sinister made in order to make a baby with Scott because he's obsessed with the child of Scott and Jean.
Okay.
And Jean was seemingly dead, but then Jean comes back, which I think is what we may have seen at the end of that last episode.
Coming back.
That was Jean.
The true Jean Grey coming back.
The true. I think that is the true Jean Grey, and the mother of the baby.
Is
also, the action figure comes with the baby too, so that may
spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was this? What's the name of the baby?
Nathan Charles Summers.
Nathan Charles Summers. Is that from the comics too, or is that an original?
That was in the show.
Well, no, I saw it in the show, but
Nate
does that
Summers
carry over?
Yeah, it is a character. And this story in the comic books, Jean dies. Scott meets the mysterious last survivor of a plane crash who happens to look exactly like Jean, named Madeline, gets with her, has a baby with her, and then Jean comes back and everything is exposed. So
he's got a type.
Yeah.
The baby figure, by the way, crazy detailed baby. I've never seen such a detailed baby figure. My kids would love this.
So I don't have a baby myself. I thought that kind of in true comic book art fashion, this baby looks like a 35-year-old man.
I mean, it looks like a 10-year-old for sure.
Okay.
Like a baby, wrapped up like a baby. It doesn't look like an infant or anything, but as far as like a detailed little tiny baby figure, pretty... I don't know, pretty good looking.
I'll have to show you. I have a couple of other Marvel Legend babies that are based on this same thing.
That is super weird that they have some babies.
I've got a baby Hulk, a baby Nightcrawler.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go. Hey, Nightcrawler. Let's talk about Nightcrawler.
Yeah, Nightcrawler, I'm going to say right here, he's my favorite of this wave of the line, at least. But I might be biased because I just love Nightcrawler.
You've
so
always
much
loved Nightcrawler. This
He's
is true.
so cool. And look at his hair. I even...
You wish you had his hair.
I posed him into a hair accentuating pose.
He's very accentuating his hair. Tail rotates, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
He's a good looking Nightcrawler too, and like finally having an opposable Nightcrawler. When I was a kid, the only Nightcrawler figure was the like glowing light up ones.
Yes.
That they were like the superpower or whatever they were, and they were never very posable, so they're always kind of terrible.
That or just the fully bendy ones that were like made out of rubber and had wire inside of them. The really bad ones.
I guess I don't remember those.
Okay.
But there's probably a thing too. I remember those like superpower ones from back in the day were always the coolest looking.
Their Juggernaut was awesome.
Yeah, it was like a late gen, like a late addition, I feel like, to the action figure scene for like our generation.
It was the best Toy Biz ever got.
Toy Biz, there you go. But they looked really cool. Their character models, like the Iceman was super cool, Juggernaut was super cool, and Nightcrawler was really cool too, but he just wasn't posable.
The posability of the new figures is a large part of why I've got back into them. I mean, it's just so neat to be able to recreate a comic book look. I mean, I find myself just playing with toys. Yep.
Yeah. Is he in the cartoon?
We haven't seen him yet.
Okay.
But
that's what I was thinking. It's like I haven't seen him yet. Because I was trying to think of like when he bamfed or something like that, and if they've changed the kind of the art style of the bamf, but I don't think I have.
I mean, based on his figure, I'm excited to see the cartoon version of him. I don't think we've seen a cartoon version where he has the really comic accurate shadowed top half of his face.
Dark eyes, yeah.
Always has that.
They did sneak in like a Psylocke at the end of episode 2. I saw Psylocke. Who else snuck in there? Lady Deathstrike?
Yeah, morph used Psylocke, Lady Deathstrike. He morphed into Blob.
Oh, it was just morph.
Yeah.
Okay, I was kind of watching other things, so I didn't quite notice that was what was going on.
Yes, but I will say one of my even in the old show, like my favorite episodes were the ones that showed a ton of different characters that I knew from the comic cards and the comic books. So there was an episode in particular that had Havoc and Polaris and like my very favorite X Factor big guy.
Okay.
That was my favorite episode of the old show. So anytime you get to see a tertiary character, just thrills me. So Matt, having watched the first 2 episodes, what are your initial impressions of X-Men 97? Maybe some likes and dislikes.
Sure. I think first the credits, super great nostalgia hit. I thought it was cool that the first episode had like very original credits, like true to the original, and then the second episode kind of changed them, had some updates. They featured Magneto instead of Xavier, but like obviously the music slaps. I was like super psyched on that.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. My favorite thing from the show, I think, was the Bishop character model change up. Like way more updated. He doesn't have like the big long mullet, Jerry curl.
Mullet.
And he looks super cool, and I thought that was
so
great.
Cool.
I think my least favorite thing from the show was the Magneto character design. He's growing on me. By the end of the second episode, it was less jarring, but his face is just weird.
His face was weird. And I have to say, like, I'm a huge fan of the classic Magneto design.
Yeah.
I just really like it. So I like it when he has a helmet, when he doesn't have the helmet, but like I'm in for the red and purple Magneto.
Yeah, I did like the original Magneto more. That's a good point. Yeah. What was your favorite?
My favorite, I really liked Jubilee, actually.
Yeah?
I mean, she was pretty close to the 90s character model, but I don't know, she was always...
There's a little redesign, though. I thought it was different, for sure.
It was. They aged her up a little bit, I thought. I thought they did a good job of that. I was really excited about the first character that we actually meet because I know from the comics that is Sunspot, and I love Sunspot. Like when all his skin turns black, and he's got that red and blue costume.
He gave us like
so dope.
A little preview with his arm.
Yes,
which is cool, and I thought that was cool. Like Jubilee putting on her glasses. I thought that was a nice little touch. Because he's bright as the sun.
True.
Okay, yeah. So
I liked. I think we're gonna get to know the characters in a more 2024 type way than we would have in the old cartoon too. There's more like dialogue and self-reflection. I actually liked that Storm monologue. At the end of the second episode. I thought that was kind of heavy for what I expected out of X-Men 97.
It's for sure a cartoon written for us. And like the nostalgia aged folks, and like less so like a Saturday morning 10-year-old cartoon. I think 10-year-olds can enjoy it, of course.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny the way they've like picked it up from 97 and it's supposed to be in the exact same timeline, but it's like obviously changed up a little bit for 2024, so it's a little more modern at the same time.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure that's a very conscious balance.
Well, and I mean, to speak to that, I thought there was never any inkling of anything having gone on between Rogue and Magneto, and now it seems like we're getting a unknown backstory.
Yeah, and there's history there.
Yeah.
That, like, all of a sudden came out of thin air. Because if it was the day after the last episode of the original series, when did all that go down?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I look forward to watching more, though.
Ooh, I can't wait. Yes, I'll definitely be tuning in next Wednesday. In fact, we'll probably watch it at lunch.
Sounds good. Hey everybody, thanks for watching Matt N Stu Review. Let us know in the comments your favorite things about X-Men 97 and maybe some of the things you disliked.
Yeah, and if you enjoy reviews like this, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode.